Welcome to Discovery! Roll the intro, please. Welcome back to another episode. We have an action-packed show this week featuring 7 brand new albums from March. One of them is The Screaming of the Valkyries, the latest release from Cradle of Filth, an album that took me over 10 listens to truly appreciate. I have some mixed feelings about this one, but when it drops, I highly recommend giving this one multiple listens before you make your own review up. However, that's not the main event for this week's Discovery. Warbringer takes center stage and it's an absolute fucking banger. We're also diving into a lot of black metal today, along with some power metal and death metal, making this a massive episode of Discovery. Before we get started, drop your favorite discoveries in the comments below, and let's begin. To kick off this week's Discovery, we descend into the cold industrial abyss of Switzerland, where we once again welcome Borgne to the show for the second time. Their latest album, Renaitre Fanges, emerged from the shadows on March 14th through Warbringer Productions, and as expected, it is another fucking monolithic chapter in their nightmarish discography. Take a listen. If you're unfamiliar with Borgne, let me make one thing clear. They have never released a bad album. Their unique fusion of industrial black metal and atmospheric dread remains intact here, though this time they've leaned even further into the horror-fueled despair. There's a rawer, more unhinged quality to this album, as if it were recorded in the bowels of some decade-long forgotten mechanical ruin. The tremolo riffing spirals into oblivion, the melodies sliver like spectres in the dark, and the vocal performance is nothing short of otherworldly, a tortured, rasping cry lost in the vast emptiness of existence. Every track is a descent into madness, layering with sprawling immersive soundscapes that switch between cavernous black metal and dystopian industrial dread. There is an almost mechanical lifelessness pulsing beneath the surface, yet the album breathes with an eerie, suffocating energy. The industrial elements, while still present, are more restrained compared to previous releases, allowing the black metal to fully engulf you. This shift works beautifully, making the record feel even more ominous, cavernous, and even apocalyptic. The percussion is thunderous on this, almost ritualistic at times, propelling the songs toward inevitable destruction. The guitar layering is phenomenal, weaving between cold mechanical dissonance and surprisingly haunting, almost melancholic passages. The production, while rawer than the previous work, still carries an incredible sense of, depth and weight, adding to the oppressive aura that permeates every second of this album. Standout moments are abundant, but track 3 is an absolute masterclass in atmosphere. It's long, progressive, and completely hypnotic, pulling you deeper and deeper into its suffocating grasp. The melodies are fucking harrowing, the guitar leads are mesmerizing, and the song's relentless descent into bleakness is nothing short of soul-crushing. The album never overstays its welcome. It never does, with every track serving a distinct purpose, ensuring that there are no wasted moments or unnecessary filler. This record is Pure nightmare fuel, in my opinion, evoking an existential dread so palpable that it feels like being lost in an endless decaying void. The keyboards add an ethereal layer of despair, enhancing the horrific grandeur of the compositions, while the vocals sound as if they are clawing through the fabric of reality itself. Overall, I'm scoring Borgne's brand new album an 85%. Though I suspect this album will continue to grow on me with each listen, it is an unrelenting, suffocating experience, an opus of industrialized doom at times and despair that demands to be heard in the cold solitude of night, in the full moonlit night. If you haven't already, seek this one out. It's available on Bandcamp, fucking Apple Music and Spotify. Definitely embrace the darkness, so let's move on. Next up is the Japanese band Fathomless Skywalker and the debut album Anthems of the Resilient, released independently on March 12. Take a listen. Overall, this is a decent album, but not a great one. They play symphonic power metal. While there are strong elements here, my main issue lies within the vocals. The operatic vocals are fucking fantastic, soaring and dramatic, adding a grandiose feel to the music. However, the cleaner vocals are a real letdown. They often sound weak and lack the power needed to match the intensity of the instrumentation. Honestly, if the entire album had stuck to operatic vocals, it could have been a much more immersive experience. On the instrumental side, the band itself is tight and cohesive, delivering solid, heavy riffing paired with like rhythmic galloping percussion that fits the power metal aesthetic perfectly. The orchestration and the keyboard arrangements give the album an epic, larger than life feel, and the songwriting is well structured. There are moments that remind me of, dare I say, early Nightwish and even Epica, though with a more pronounced power metal edge. So some stand-up tracks include Revolution, which has a really strong melody that sticks with you. The Loyal Paladins features an excellent solo, one of the best moments on the album. Then you got Pirates of the Fathomless Sea is another highlight, where the vocalist truly shines with her operatic range, making me wish that she had leaned into that style more throughout the record. That said, not every track hits the mark. Some songs feel uninspired, and a few sections lack that depth and emotion that make great symphonic power metal albums stand out. The biggest issue for me is the inconsistency in the vocal delivery. Now, whenever she switches to that whiny fucking thin sounding cleans, it completely takes me out of the whole experience from this album. If they had committed fully to that operatic style or find a stronger clean vocal approach, this album could have been much more engaging. Ouch, that hurts a bit. I bet it hurts a bit. Would I listen to it again? Probably fucking not. There are some great moments here, but as a whole, the album doesn't quite reach the levels of the genre's heavyweights. The songwriting is solid, but some tracks feel generic, and the execution doesn't quite push the boundaries enough in my opinion. With that being said, I'm scoring Fathomless Skywalker's debut, ouch, a 45%. Hopefully on the next album they take more risk, refine their vocal approach and deliver something more fucking memorable. If they lean fully into their strengths, especially the operatic vocals, they have a real potential to grow. So, let's move on. Next up, we head over to Norway to discover new band Helvitnir and their debut album Wolves in the Underworld, released March 14th through Dusktone. Take a listen. This album immediately caught my attention as it features Hellhammer from Mayhem on drums, his band, his vision, and it's absolutely fantastic. If that wasn't enough, you've got Hell Commander Vargblot, known for his work in Ragnarok, handles vocals and bass on this release as well. Right from the start, this album delivers aggressive, raw, and unapologetic Norwegian black metal. The atmosphere is drenched in malice, dark energy, and a classic Norwegian sound, but with a modern, refined twist. If you know what Norwegian black metal is supposed to sound like, then you already know what you're getting on this album. While it may be simple in its approach, it executes that simplicity with absolute mastery. Your Hellhammer's drumming is absolutely relentless on this. His signature blast beat scorching your ears, while the thunderous fills add such a dynamic edge. The tremolo riffing and fast-picked guitar work create a whirlwind of icy razor-sharp aggression, while the soaring black metal vocals drip with venom and fucking malice. There's something undeniably captivating about the way the tracks unfold, each one maintaining a ferocious intensity without overstaying its welcome. Standout tracks include Throes of Transformation, which perfectly encapsulates the album's dark and oppressive landscape, and Black Flame Triad, where the intensity picks up with blistering speed and chaotic energy. Void of Emptiness is another highlight, featuring some truly haunting melodies laid within its icy aggression. Dreadbiter slows things down a bit but retains that ominous, impactful black metal presence. Closing track Draga is a fitting finale with searing guitars and vicious tortured vocals that leave leaves a wow moment. I thoroughly enjoyed this album from start to finish. It's raw, sinister, and filled with a kind of black metal energy that keeps you engaged the whole way through. While it doesn't reinvent the wheel, it perfects the craft of traditional Norwegian black metal with a sharp modern edge. My initial score is 85%. I have a feeling that this might climb even higher with repeated listens. You can check this one out on Bandcamp, and for those who love physical formats, CDs and vinyls are available as well, I'm pretty sure. Highly recommend for fans of pure, no-nonsense black metal. And now we turn to the UK, where the legendary Cradle of Filth is set to release their 14th studio album, The Screaming of the Valkyries, in just a few days. Slated for release on March 21st through Napalm Records, I had the privilege of hearing this album weeks in advance. I'm talking about weeks in advance. Take a listen. At first, I wasn't too impressed. My initial reaction was one of disappointment. It felt strangely flat, lacking that punchy, dynamic production that typically defines Cradle of Filth's sound. That immediate sense of grandeur and aggression was dulled down, leaving an album that initially felt somewhat lifeless. If I had reviewed it just after one listen, my take would have been far more fucking negative. But Cradle of Filth is not a band that should be judged on a single pass. Repeated listens slowly unveil its hidden magic, and while the production still remains an issue to me, it just lacks that depth and sharpness. There's much more to uncover beneath the surface. Sonically, this album leans into unpredictable songwriting, embracing the classic Cradle of Filth blend of symphonic horror, blackened gothic aesthetics, and extreme metal ferocity. There are absolutely plenty of melodic guitar passages, and of course, Danny Filth's signature piercing shrieks and screams and theatrical growls. A major addition of the band's evolving sound is Zoe Marie Fedorov, whose cleans and operatic vocals weave through the album, adding a more majestic, almost like a celestial atmosphere. Her presence is undeniable, giving the Screaming of the Valkyries a more ethereal symphonic edge, though some fans may find this shift unexpected in my opinion. It's reminiscent of what Flesh God Apocalypse has done by integrating more clean female vocals, and what works beautifully, it could alienate some fans who crave the harsher, more traditional Cradle of Filth experience. Make no fucking mistake though, this album is still dark, aggressive, and pretty heavy, though perhaps more melodic and grandiose than their previous releases. There are moments where Danny Filth's vocals delivery seems strained in my opinion, as if pushing his limits, but his signature storytelling and theatrical intensity remain as captivating as ever, and not to mention the lyrics on this are fucking fantastic. Some of the standout tracks include We Like to Live Deliciously, which oozes gothic seduction with its sinister hypnotic melodies, and you got Demagoguery, a hard-hitting venomous track that cuts deep. The Trinity of Shadows embraces the full symphonic scope of the album, driven by heavy keyboards, soaring operatic passages, and an infectious melody that lingers long after the track ends. This feels like Cradle of Filth fully embracing a new era of songwriting, one that balances their macabre brutality with an increasingly angelic orchestral touch. For those longing for a more classic Cradle of Filth sound, look no further to White Hellebore, which is also a single as well. It delivers exactly that twisted, dark and ferocious energy that you expect, while Malignant Perfection gets stuck in your head in the best possible way. You Are My Nautilus is another hard-hitting standout filled with razor-sharp guitar riffs and haunting melodies. That gothic masterwork of the album is Exsanguinating Draculae. Taps directly into Cradle of Filth's romanticized vampiric aesthetic, drenched in eerie atmospheres and theatrical grandeur. Then we arrive at the closer, where Misery Was a Stranger. This might just be one of the most epic climactic album finales Cradle of Filth has ever delivered in my opinion. The melodies are breathtaking. Danny Filth's vocal performance on this track is phenomenal, creating an ending that lingers like a unshakable curse. Yes, it took me multiple listens to truly appreciate the screaming of the Valkyries. The production still feels quite flat and lacking impact at times, and that remains my biggest gripe with the album. But the songwriting is strong, the melodies are mesmerizing, and the gothic horror essence of Cradle of Filth remains alive and well. I'm scoring this album 75% for now, though I suspect it will continue to grow on me the more I immerse myself in its dark, elaborate soundscapes. Cradle of Filth continue to prove why they remain one of the most enduring and theatrical forces in extreme metal, and even if this album doesn't hit immediately with you, its haunting melodies and grand symphonic elements ensure it will leave its mark in the future. So go check it out. And now we journey to the bleak and desolate landscapes of Argentina, where we discover the black metal abyss that is Nekyros and their haunting debut album Nyxian Path. Take a listen. This album is an absolute triumph of desolation and darkness, a slow, methodical black metal release that lingers in the shadows, creeping with eerie, misanthropic atmosphere before erupting into moments of sheer aggression. The very first notes, you can feel the cold, lifeless embrace of despair, as if the world itself is swallowing you whole. The guitars are drenched in evil, howling with melancholic misery, while the vocals are tormented, raw, and deeply unsettling. The Argentinians have crafted something truly special here, a record that is not only atmospheric and haunting, but also deeply nihilistic, painting a bleak portrait of existence through its grim ritualistic compositions. The album feels like a descent into an abyss, each song unraveling further into shrouded darkness and even existential dread. Among the standout tracks, A Road to Walk stands tall with its slow, almost doomy pace and an ominous dirge that feels like marching toward an inevitable fate. Then you got The Entrance Part 1 is a 12-minute monolith of grimy atmosphere and suffocating dread. Its dissonant riffs and abyssal soundscapes painting a picture of complete isolation. The guitar work is stunningly bleak, with melodies that call around you like vines in a decaying forest, and the vocals are utterly harrowing. The album shifts gears with Fortress of the Damned, a track that escalates into high impact black metal fury while retaining the album's signature grim melodies. Those same haunting guitar phrases from The Entrance Part 1 return in The Entrance Part 2, another slow burning, methodical descent into madness. It's a track that feels almost ritualistic, as if it's summoning something from the void itself. Then comes In the Shores of Time, a brilliant track that perfectly encapsulates the album's overarching themes of hopelessness and desolation. The percussion throughout the album is thunderous yet distant, like echoes from beyond, while the guitar work is masterfully bleak, layering cavernous tremolo passages over eerie winding melodies that never allow a moment of solace. I'm scoring Nyxian Path a 75% for now, but I can already feel this climbing higher with repeated listens. It's an absolute triumph of misanthropic black metal, an album that oozes dread and mystery, leaving behind nothing but emptiness and cold whispers in its wake. If you enjoy black metal that thrives in desolation and ritualistic torment, this is an album you need to hear. Check it out on Bandcamp and lose yourself in its vast, unrelenting darkness. And now we head to the Netherlands to explore Cryptosis and their latest album, Celestial Death, released on March 7th through Century Media Records. Take a listen. This album is good, but not great. In my opinion, Cryptosis plays a progressive thrash metal style, but there are so many different influences thrown into the mix that it sometimes feels a bit, like scatterbrained. You'll hear death metal riffs, black metal tremolos, intricate prog sections, and even symphonic keyboards, all colliding in a cosmic high concept metal journey. While that might sound exciting on paper, I found the songwriting to be a bit all over the place. There's definitely a lot to enjoy, and I did have fun listening to it, but it's not an album that keeps pulling me back for repeated listens. At 42 minutes, it's a relatively short album that should, in theory, make it easy to spin again, but unfortunately, I don't feel compelled to revisit it. Sorry about that. While the album is packed with layered cosmic soundscapes, keyboard-driven atmospheres, and technically impressive guitar work, it somehow lacks that extra punch to make it truly memorable. That said, there are definitely standout tracks like Faceless Matter. Opens with some interesting riff work and dynamic shifts, and Static Horizon carries a lot of progressive energy with intricate guitar passages. Ascending is one of the best songs on the album, packed with fluid, complex melodies and engaging song structure that keeps you hooked. Absent presence and In Between Reality showcase the band's technical proficiency, blending like precise, razor-sharp riffing with an almost cinematic feel. Then you got Cryptosphere is my favorite track on the album, featuring haunting, spiraling guitars, eerie synth layers, and a deep cosmic atmospheric sound that makes it stand out from the rest. Vocally, there's a lot of variety. There really is. The black metal influences work well in the heavier sections, while the occasional melodic death metal moments add some contrast. I actually really like the vocal approach on this, as if it fits that cosmic and progressive themes the band is going for. So why doesn't this album fully click for me? That's probably what you're probably asking. Well, the musicianship is top notch. The songwriting sometimes feels a little bit unfocused. Like the band is throwing way too fucking much into band is throwing in too many fucking elements without a clear direction. The mix of progressive thrash, black metal, and cosmic synth layers is certainly ambitious, but nothing about it feels groundbreaking or mind-blowing. It's a solid album, but not one that leaves a lasting impact for me. I'm scoring Celestial Death a 70%. It's good, well executed, and has some great moments, but it's not something I feel compelled to return to. The technical musicianship is quite impressive, but the lack of cohesion and memorability prevents it from being a must-listen. That said, if you're into progressive thrash and cosmic atmosphere, it's definitely worth checking out. You can find it on Bandcamp and all major streaming fucking services. Give it a listen, and see if it resonates with you. And now, our main event for this week's Discovery, march onto the battlefield of thrash metal warfare, where Warbringer returns with their ferocious new album, Wrath and Ruin, released on March 14th through Napalm Records. Take a listen. This album is a full-scale sonic assault, a blitzkrieg of relentless energy, razor-sharp riffs, and a war machine's intensity that never falters. Warbringer has been leading the charge in modern thrash metal for years, and for me, it all started when I discovered them with their phenomenal 2020 release, Weapons of Tomorrow, an album that still holds its place among my all-time thrash favourites. Of 2020, of course. But with Wrath and Ruin, Warbringer raises the stakes, delivering a high-octane, neck-breaking thrash attack that feels like marching into a fucking battle with no surrender in sight. From the opening moments, the guitars slice through like bayonets, the drumming thunders like artillery fire, and John Keevill's commanding war cry leads the charge. His signature raspy, blackened thrash delivery elevates every track, transforming this into not just another thrash album, but a fucking battlefield of sonic destruction. This is thrash metal adrenaline of its most volatile, a relentless assault where every riff feels like a bullet whizzing past your ear, and every drum fill is another bomb detonating in the distance. Among the standout war hymns, among the standout songs like The Sword and the Cross, opens the album like a siege weapon crashing through fortified gates, a full-speed riff-driven onslaught that sets the tone for the carnage to come. Then you got songs like A Better World follows with a frenzic solo heavy charge, a song that feels like an anthem for warriors standing victorious on a battlefield littered with the fallen. Then comes the Jackhammer. Now the Jackhammer, a song as brutal as its name suggests, a relentless thrash attack with some death metal aggression that hammers through the fence and sends mosh pits into utter chaos. That will send mosh pits into utter chaos. Holy shit. One of the album's most unexpected and powerful weapons is Through a Glass Darkly. Through a Glass Darkly. A gothic tinged blackened thrash song that slows the tempo and delivers an eerie, sinister war march into oblivion. This track radiates evil, drenched in a blackened atmosphere that echoes the bleak aftermath of war. Then you got Kevil's chilling venomous vocal delivery makes this one of the most darkest and most haunting tracks Warbringer has ever crafted, a song that lingers like the smell of burning ruins after the battle was over. The assault continues with Strike from the Sky, a full-throttle thrash anthem a full throttle thrash anthem that soars like a fighter fucking jet dropping devastation below. Cage of Air sustains the relentless barrage, showcasing lightning fast shredding and precision solos that cut through the mix like swords slicing through armor. Then there's The Last of My Kind, a track that starts slow and methodical with solemn, melancholic guitars that feel like the quiet before the next onslaught. But once the battle resumes, it erupts into one final all-out offensive, a last standout where every riff, every drum strike of the snare, and every vocal scream feels like a desperate fight for survival. At just 40 minutes, Wrath and Ruin flies by like a blitzkrieg raid. Yet, not a single second is wasted. Every song is sharp, deliberate, and ruthlessly effective, a testament to Warbringer's mastery of sonic warfare. Chase Becker and Adam Carroll, once again, they prove why they are some of the deadliest guitarists in thrash metal today, delivering riffs that feel like waves of artillery fire and solos that cut through the chaos like a sniper's bullet. And if that wasn't enough, the second half of the album is a full live concert recorded throughout 2023, proving once again that Warbringer is just as lethal on stage as they are in the studio. Their precision, energy, and raw intensity translate flawlessly in a live setting, capturing the absolute chaos of a Warbringer show. With that being said, I'm scoring Wrath and Ruin an 85%. This is an album forged in the fires of battle, a thrash metal war machine that never slows down, never gives up, and never takes prisoners. It's aggressive, addicting, and impossible to put down. If you haven't already, prepare for war and give this album a listen, because this is a Warbringer at their close to absolute best. So go check it out.
For tomorrow, the future is dead. That empty sinking feeling deep in the soul. No one better.
So yeah, that's it for Discovery for this week. I do apologize. Had a busy weekend this weekend. So I do apologize that Discovery is a little bit later this week, but I'll make it up to you because we got another huge Discovery next week. So let me know in the comments below what you thought about this Discovery. Let me know what you discovered as well. Do you agree, disagree with my opinion? It's been fun, and I will see you in the next one.